Hello there, everybody, and welcome to Work Should Feel Good, the show where your career growth meets your real life. I'm your host, Diana Alt, and today my guest, Louise Sandoval, and I are going to talk about how effectively delegating to the right outsourcing partner can help you scale up your business, whether it's a part-time or a full-time endeavor, so work should feel good. Louise is the founder of Virtual Staff Pro, an outsourcing agency based in the Philippines. Then she helps her clients scale their impact with the right systems and support. And I'll tell you right now that this podcast and probably my whole business would not even exist anymore if it was not for working with Louise. She's an expert in building digital ecosystems for coaches, creators, and other types of online businesses. And her teams work closely with clients to bring ideas to life in a way that lets them work in their zone of genius while her team handles the day to day. Welcome to the party. How are
Thank
you,
you for
Louise?
thank you so much for having me. Wow, that was like the best intro
I
of
know. Aren't you
myself.
glad
Like,
that it's on record so that you can
yeah,
be like, I like this bio?
I was just going
I love when people like rewrite my bio because it's like I've copy pasted out of a media kit. Here you
Mhm.
go. Make it your own. But yeah, it's always fun to listen to somebody else introduce you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, can I get a copy of that? Or I'm just gonna get a copy of that. That was
I
so wonderful.
literally have Lance get the run of show out of
Mhm.
the episode directory. You probably have access to this in my Google Drive.
I know.
Um, Okay,
Thank
I'm
you
gonna
so
kick
much
off
for
with a
having me.
random thing. So,
Hmm.
Louise, you're in the Philippines,
Hmm.
and I always ask, like, is there anything else that I should know whenever I'm taking all the intake? And you said you like cold spaghetti, and I didn't have that on my bingo card. So, is spaghetti a common food that is eaten in the Philippines? Tell us about this.
Well, it is like it's the food that we have in special occasions. If it's your birthday, Christmas, if you feel sad, it's a staple. In fast food chains here. And our
What?
spaghetti is different. It's sweet. It has hot
What?
dogs
You
on
have
it.
hot dogs on your what kind of sauce do you guys do sauce, or is it just like, here's some noodles
The
and some hot dogs? What's the deal?
Yeah, so it's pasta, the spaghetti pasta, and then if you're fancy, you get tomato sauce or the spaghetti sauce, and then cheese. But hot dogs is a must. And then also, when I grew up having it with banana ketchup. So banana ketchup plus tomato sauce plus hot dogs and then cheese on
Banana
top.
ketchup?
Yeah, we have banana ketchup
It's basically squashed bananas, like ketchup
and
is
turn. Yeah.
I can't do that. I like bananas one way, like fresh out the skin. I
Mhm.
don't like banana stuff. I like bananas. So, but that's so interesting. I can
Yeah.
get behind cold spaghetti though, because everybody
Yeah.
knows like we eat spaghetti with meat sauce a lot in the US.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that cold that's been in the fridge for like 2 days, that's the way to eat spaghetti. It's like, I
That
wanna go into
is
the
it.
Italian restaurant and be like, "Do you have the leftovers in the back?" Like, the stuff you made 2 days ago. Anyway, so
That is me. Like, I don't like it fresh hot. I like it cold, 2 days old. And yeah, I could just eat it like, like my own dessert.
yeah. If you guys decide to follow Louise, she's constantly posting food. So, and then I'm like, "Well, I can't that looks delicious, and I can't get that in the US." So, I wanna talk a little bit about your career history because you're now the CEO of Virtual Staff Pro. You also have your second thing of Bender Labs, which we'll get into later in the show. But you did not start in this systems and online business thing. You went to college for medical assistant, is that right? Something in medical.
Um,
So tell us about
yeah.
how you decided to go into that, and then what made you pivot out of medical into what the lane that you're in now?
Mm. Yeah, it's quite a story. I went to college, graduated as a bachelor in medical laboratory science. So, I'm a scientist by
You're
profession.
legit science.
Yeah. Like I know all the parasites, the bacteria. I know the physiology and all that, the anatomy of each parasite. I know their life cycle. The plan was to be a doctor. Like the plan
Okay.
was, yeah, to go to medical school, but money problems, and financially we cannot do it. And also we were was having problems in terms of like, finances in school. So when I graduated, I went to work right away. I started in a contact center. I was making outbound calls, sales all day.
Mm,
And fun fact, I was doing a British accent for that, because our
stop.
account our account was to call people in the UK and ask them about their credit insurance. And when I did that, it was so tiring, because I was, we working all night, and and nonstop calls. It would be like 5 minutes interval and no rest. Actually, we
Yeah.
would only have one break. And outbound calls is a lot. And after that, I decided, I was like, I can't do this, it's not sustainable. So I was trying to find work, and what I love was writing. It's ever since I was a kid. And I started applying for jobs, on all job sites. I was looking for a job that I could just write for days. And then I applied at a website where a pastor was looking for a blog writer. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I was writing for blogs, and then I was managing his Kajabi account. So I that's the first time I handled Kajabi. And back then it was just like a new platform
This was
to
like
host.
10 plus years. Was it 10 years ago?
13 years ago. It was
Wow.
13 years ago. And
Robbie was a
yeah,
baby 13 years
it
ago.
yes, it was a baby. Like I could remember so well, they have megaphone for the landing pages. It was different platforms to be in one platform, and then it evolved to what it is today. So and from then on, when I worked as a Kajabi virtual assistant for that pastor, I got into one client from another. And then when I worked with my co-founder, then he said that, oh, my students, because he has a mastermind, my students want to work with you, but I cannot work with so many clients. Like I
Mm,
can, I can't divide myself into 15 people. So I told him, like, what if like I teach my cousin or my friend and how to do all of this stuff, and then we could work together. And it
mhm.
started there. The idea of the agency started there. We started with 5 people, and now 10 years after that, this is what we have. We came up with this outsourcing model where it gives that
I'm gonna get into
flexibility.
that in one second, but I want to make sure because a lot of the people that listen to the show are
Mhm.
not as familiar. Like they've heard the term virtual
Yeah.
assistant. Probably 90%, 98% of them have never heard the word
Hmm.
Kajabi. So I'm gonna level set a couple things with you guys. Kajabi is an all-in-one platform that a lot of people with small online businesses use. There's some other similar ones if you've ever heard of Kartra or Go High
Yeah.
Level, but the whole idea behind it is that you can put as much of your business as possible in there. So I can
Mm.
put digital courses, I could create like an online community. I haven't done that yet, but my email marketing is in there and whatever. And so Louise's team knows how to do all of that. And contrary to popular belief, you do not have to have your website in WordPress. You can have it in
Yeah.
something else. My website is all in Kajabi. So
Mhm.
that's a little bit of a level set. And so you basically went into the world of working with online businesses. I am curious, that pastor that you first worked with, what was the business that he was running on
Yeah.
Kajabi?
So he was actually teaching other churches on how to use social media for their
Ah,
church. So
okay.
yeah, it was amazing. And he had
Nice.
clients too. And that's what his course was about. So we were, I was just on the background, like managing things. I actually met
Yeah.
him in person, I think like 4 years ago. So like
How
it was
cool.
an amazing experience. And
Yeah.
we still communicate until today, even if he's not my client anymore. Like we would,
Yeah.
chat, and he would, check in with me from time to time.
Yeah, if you like, there's a million different types of businesses you can have. There's a million kinds of coaches, but you were first working on a course. So fast forward. Okay, we're gonna fast forward back. So you did this work, and then you had somebody, one of your clients said, the people in my mastermind, other business owners want
Hmm.
a VA, and so then the agency was born,
Yes.
basically. So you started with 5 people. How many of those are
Yeah.
with you? How many of those are
Um,
anyone still with you?
Oh, I think you know the guy Lyndon is with me still up to today.
Lyndon.
And
Lyndon's
then we
gonna
have,
Lyn-
and my first project manager was actually Gerald, who is now my COO.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. And then Mitch is, I'm not sure if you know Mitch Fernandez. Oh, she was one
Mitch
of,
Mitch did your graphic for this. Like
yeah,
she's doing
graphics.
graphics for
So
me.
yeah, so she's one of those graphic design people. The other one was actually my husband. So he was the podcast editor at that time.
Oh,
Um, and
and they're
then
still married. So
yes, we're still married. So yeah, and who else was it? There's this one other person who helped us with like general stuff, like Kajabi and all that. She got married and I think went to, another country, so she migrated. So we weren't able to, work with her for a long time. So yeah, we started with those people and then from then on it grew to to many departments.
how many people are working with you now?
Right now for virtual staff, we have 45.
45.
Along with intern, we have 17 interns as well.
Oh my. Oh, yeah, you told me that you were getting all these interns in. They're
Yes.
doing social media, right?
Yeah,
Most
social
of their do.
media and some graphic design as well too for
Nice. Okay.
design.
And
Yeah.
so then recently you started Bender Labs, which is the sister company. Okay, first off,
Yes.
my audience is mostly American. You must tell the people where Bender came from.
Yeah, Bender came from me and my husband's favorite cartoon show, which is Futurama. So the trash robot in Futurama. So we love Futurama, and then because it's robot, it's automation, and that's where Bender came in. So we just
I
called it
love it.
Bender Labs.
I
Yeah.
think that's great. So how many people are working under the Bender umbrella?
So the Bender umbrella right now, actually, this is quite an update too. So we have the AI part. So the AI part has around yeah, there are 7 of them right now. So we have AI team members, and also we have our marketing team, and then we also have another side of this business is our 3D printing business.
What?
So yeah, so we print 3D stuff here at home, and there's still only 3 people on there. So we've combined automation and 3D printing because it's like a manufacturing for that side of the business.
How wild. That is so crazy. So why do I feel like why do 3D printing I did not have on my bingo card. I definitely didn't know about that. So basically, but you have almost 60 people working in your
60 people.
organization, which is a really different model than a lot of people think about. Because a lot of people, when they think about, I'm going to hire a virtual assistant from the
Mm-hmm.
Philippines, they think that they're going to go pay $3 an hour for somebody to work in their email, which
Mm-hmm.
is different than what your model is. So can you
Yeah.
tell folks about how you run your agency, like what the
Mm.
business model for it is, how that looks to the client, and kind of how the billing works, just kind of go over all that stuff. I could do it because I'm a client, but I want to hear it from you. You'll say it better than I will.
Yeah, so we have quite a different outsourcing model. So generally, when people hear like, "Oh, you have a virtual assistant company," they would think that we're gonna do the headhunting for them, we're gonna do the
Mhm.
recruitment, and then we give them the VA. They pay us the amount, we pay the VA. So that is quite far from what we do, because we made our model very intentional that we're not just leaving you with the VA. Like, we're here to help you manage how you work with a VA as well. And it's not just one person, because back in the day, people were marketed that, oh, you hire a VA and then my VA does everything for me and all that. But
Yeah.
yeah, but one person can have very limited skill set. Yes, they can be taught all those, but imagine them doing videos, podcasts at the same time. Like, it's impossible. Like,
Well,
and also,
it's the classic problem of
hmm,
jack of all trades, master of none.
exactly.
So, like, what are you actually good at if you're trying to do all of it?
Yeah.
And so what you do is basically I can tap into anything that's on your skill set as a
Mm-hmm.
client. I can
Mm-hmm.
say, which I the very first project we did was that initial website that like
Yeah.
Roberto said, go talk to Louise. She can build a website because I didn't have one at the time and I felt weird about
Mhm.
it. But I've been able to tap into admin. Last year, the biggest thing I use right now is actually podcast production.
Yes.
More hours on that than anything else lately. So, and you do this at a blended rate, basically.
Yes, at a
You
blended
don't
rate.
feel
Yeah,
pressure
because
on that. So,
yeah, I want to make it really simple and straightforward because I don't want to tell the client like, oh, like we charged this for that. Like I want it to be just flexible, and the only thing that my client would think about is like like their vision and then their strategy and how they could scale their business with us. And with us, like you get to like you mentioned, you get to tap into different skill sets because we have different departments. Each one is an expert, or they have their own strengths as well in that department. So we have our Kajabi team who does everything with Kajabi. We have our graphic designers, video editors, podcasts, administrative VA, our creative team members who does both graphics and video, our social media managers, and many more. We all and Bender for our AI and
yeah.
automation. So that's how because what I'm envisioning before was that our clients will have a team of these experts, but they don't have to be paying someone full time, and not knowing what to give them, because having someone as a video editor full time, you'd be pressured
That's
to like give
expensive.
them. Yeah,
To get a
and
high
it's
quality video
expensive.
editor full time is expensive, and then to turn
Ve-
around and use them to manage your calendar or
Mhm.
whatever is silly. No one wants to do
Yeah,
that. So,
yeah,
you
exactly.
know what I think is the truth. I love the blended rate approach because then
Mm,
I don't have to try to predict, oh, well, I'm doing this and that's going to be here's that. I don't have
yeah.
to do anything other than say I'm going to invest in
Mhm.
resources for whatever period of time. But you know your true secret sauce as far as people like me is concerned, don't you?
Yeah. So
What is it? What do you think
we
I think is your secret sauce?
well, our secret sauce is our project managers and also
Yes,
our
it is.
systems. Because
Hi,
yeah,
Carol. Hi,
yes,
Carol.
you can work with VAs, but you still have to manage them. That's another add-on work to you. Like people would say, like, "Oh, I hired a VA, but it did not work out because I ended up managing them, or I ended up trying to think what
Yeah.
they need to do, and now when I think about it, like I think I can do it faster." So having a project manager eliminates that feeling. So all you have to do is like talk to your project manager as your as your contact person, explain them the vision, and then they already know, like, oh yeah, we need a team, we need this type of team members, this is what we need from you. We already have a template for that, or a checklist, and then it's just send it over to us, because that is our secret sauce. Because I've been that for my clients, and
Yeah.
I know that without the project manager, it's so hard to work with a whole team, and and try to like piece them all together,
Yeah,
and
and
not
to give a
you
little
know
perspective on this. So I am not like I don't have a huge business. Louise has worked with seven-figure people. My business like knocks on the door of six figures. So like she has very different sizes, but I get to tap into all these experts. And so if I think about it, just in the last year or so, I've had Carol, who's my PM.
Mhm.
I've been consulting with Lyndon because I want to do some video stuff. So we'll be working on stuff soon. I have Mitch for graphics.
Yeah.
I have Lance doing podcast admin. I
Mhm.
have Steven doing the actual podcast editing. And I
Mhm.
have let's see, Ray is working on my Kajabi stuff. That's
Yeah.
just like the baseline of people. So I have six people, even though my business is pretty small, because I might only need Lance for 3 hours this week and
Yeah.
Steven for 1 hour or whatever. I don't have to worry about any of that. But let me tell you what I do not want to do. Manage six people. So Carol does that for me. And I still have a good relationship where I get to, I can freely talk to any of these
Yeah,
people
you
whenever I
can.
want, but she's my point of contact. How do most I know how I interact with the team. How do
Mhm.
most of your clients interact with the individual VAs and with their project managers? Are they usually like doing Zoom calls where then you're dealing with the time zone stuff? Do they do most of it on email?
Mhm.
How often are people live talking to their VAs
Yeah, so we encourage our
synchronously?
Yeah, we encourage our clients to have at least once a week call with their project manager, and if needed, so like for big projects or especially when it's launch season, we also like tell them that yeah, you can have a call with the rest of the team, but we need to facilitate that because I have my team work in flexible hours right
Mhm.
now, so they pick their own schedule because I want it to like very accommodating to them. So they plan the project manager will plan the meetings, and then that's it. But most of the time, with our clients, if they've been with us for so long, like they would just be talking to their project manager once a month, or even not even for like once a month. Sometimes it says every 6 months. Depends on the client. When they trust the team already, it's just like a quick voice message or an email, like, hey, I need this
Mhm.
and that. Then that's done. Like they don't really have to be on a Zoom call every time. And we have our, other channels like emails, WhatsApp, and Slack.
That's okay. So this is really good stuff because it gets a little bit into the mindset of working with a
Mm,
VA, which I want to dig into a little bit
mm-hmm.
more. One thing I will say personally is that I've been working with Louise's team for 6 years, and I've had a lot of stability in the people that I've worked with. I'm only like I've had one project manager that moved on, and then I have
Mm,
Carol, who's my current
yeah.
project manager. I talk to them on Trello and email, and that's it, unless I'm doing a project. So when I said, "Oh,
Yes.
I wanna explore I wanna put some AI agents and, like, basically some automations for the
Mm-hmm.
podcast and some other things," we had a kickoff meeting for that. We'll probably have a few meetings as we're doing that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be that way, but here's the big thing that I wanna talk about. Most of your clients aren't in the Philippines. You have a lot in the US and
Yes.
Canada, Europe,
Mm-hmm.
you have European clients,
We do.
and then Australia. Where are other major regions that you guys work with?
Um, I could say like 70% in the US.
Okay.
And then there's about, 20%, in Australia. And also like Europe, we have from France, we have, I think Netherlands, and then also in London.
Okay.
And we actually have a few in Dubai. I think we have two or
Oh,
three in Dubai.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Back, yeah, before we
That's
also
so
had a
exotic.
we also have a client in Singapore and Hong Kong. So
Okay, so
global.
the point with this, you have even more than I realized. The point with this is that you're working with people offshore. You're
Yeah.
dealing with 90% of the people are not in your time zone, if not more.
Hmm.
I guess, is there some overlap with Australia
Yeah, there is. They
time
they
zone?
are just
Yeah.
like 2 hours ahead of
Okay,
us.
so that's reasonable. That's like a
Hmm.
Kansas City person talking to California. A lot of people really suck at dealing with that relationship. Like they don't
Yeah.
understand how to make it work. So if someone is contemplating working with any outsourced person
Hmm.
that is 12 hours away, 12? Is that how many we are? Is that
Yeah. For EST, we are 12
yeah.
hours ahead.
Oh, well, you're 13 hours ahead of me because I'm in
Yes.
Central. What are some of the things that people need to keep in mind whenever
Hmm.
they're, say, in Kansas City, Missouri area, and they're working with someone that's in the Philippines, if they are
Hmm.
not used to working with overseas outsourcing?
Yeah, so number one would be to over communicate less, and also like understand that it's on the other side of the world. So respecting like the time zone, and also setting expectations. Like you can tell the person that, oh, like I want to be communicated the morning my time. I want to know what you're going to be working with, or like what if you have any problems, and then I can meet you again after my work, or like in the evening, which is morning for that person. So
Mhm.
those type of expectations should be set in place, and that's what I talk as well in during the onboarding or kickoff calls with clients, like how do you want to be communicated? Do you want to be emailed in the morning, or can we just like give you quick updates on WhatsApp? Are you mostly available in the evening for us, which is morning our end? Because that's how we match project managers and the VAs
Okay.
too.
Yeah.
So and all and over communication means that, oh, like if you want to, like, do a project, then email everything to us. And then also some of our clients would also send us a WhatsApp like, hey guys, I emailed you something, so that we know like, oh, she's expecting us to respond to that email
What's
and
so
all that.
funny about that is that, like, there's actually a lot of jokes in US corporate culture at least about, do you really have to text me that you just sent me an email? But you guys
Mhm.
like it because you want to make sure that
Yeah.
you can be responsive across all those time zones, right?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
couple of other things that I think of. So I had familiarity with working 10 time zones away with India
Mhm.
for many years before I started working with you guys. And that was different because we were on synchronous calls regularly. I felt
Oh
so bad.
wow.
We were on synchronous calls regularly, but it was also a big corporation. We had
Mm.
30 people like from India that were part of our team, which felt different. My biggest tips for anybody that is working with an overseas team is number one, start your projects with them as early as you can. Like, one of the things I always try to do is not have emergencies. Like, if
Yeah.
there's an emergency, it's rare. I like to use this is urgent sparingly so
Mm.
that my VAs don't hate me and think that I don't respect their time. So
Yeah.
that's one thing that really helps. The other thing is holidays, like understanding what's happening culturally in whatever country that you're working on. If you're working with people in India, there's a lot of holidays in like October and November that are before the US,
Mhm.
the Western Christian world, like Christmas season.
Mhm.
So, like, oh, you think that you're gonna be off and not doing stuff in December, well, you're also gonna have trouble in November if you're not careful in planning for those things.
Yeah.
So, that's been really interesting. One thing that you're really good about is actually in your own social media and your emails is telling people about some of the cultural aspects of the Philippines.
Yeah.
And also, like, I was looking at your LinkedIn this morning and you talked about how a couple of weeks ago there was a power emergency. So you
Yeah.
communicating to the clients like, hey, this is what's
Th-
happening. What are some
Yeah.
of the things specific to Filipino culture that you want people to know about whenever they're going to be working with y'all?
Well, number one would be we would call you sir, ma'am. Like in the first round, like
Yeah.
when your VA is new, like they would say like, Ma'am Diana or
Yeah.
sir, and it's very common of us because we always like be respectful, and it's in the culture. But joking aside, that's not a joke. That's actually real. We were just talking about that a while ago, but we have like with our here in the Philippines, there's two seasons only. There's of course it's a tropical country. There's sunny, and then there's also like the rainy season, which turns
You
into
have hot and
typhoons.
flooding, don't you?
Yeah, hot and
You have hot
flooding.
and flooding.
And it turns into typhoons and all that. And we have really frequent earthquakes. So it's very common here. Like I was just like with a client in Cebu, like yes, like on Monday, and we were just getting alarms on our phones that there was a 5.7 earthquake while we were
Mm,
there. So like I told him it's okay. It's very frequent. Like unless it's a 7, we're gonna freak out, but it's still a
yeah.
5. So, and that's what we're and it's it's a country where like like your basic stuff, like having trains and all that is a luxury to us. So like even transportation is it's a huge problem here. So that's why I love posting about the Philippines, because I have to tell you the story. When I was working as a virtual assistant, my client would say like, why do you have earthquakes all the time? We don't even have that here." We say like, I live in the Philippines. We have earthquakes all the time. So I have to explain it to him. And I even have to like Google all the
It's
articles
like
and all
asking
that.
someone that lives in Los Angeles, why do you have sun all the time?
Yeah, so
You
like
just
I have to
do.
tell him. And because I and also like to know more about the Philippines, and know more about our culture, like why we're this and why we're having that. And sometimes like you may seem like, oh, like my VA is not responding to me. Maybe it's a power outage, or
Mhm.
the internet is down. So we have those problem occurring all the time. It's not just us making excuses, but it does happen. So
Yeah.
like when that happens, it's also like we're getting anxious. Like Filipinos are known to be hardworking people. Like we work
Yeah.
really hard. And if we cannot, if we cannot communicate with a client, we also get, we also get frustrated with, internet, power outage and all that. So we're experiencing all that here.
There's
And I
also
love to hear
another
Robbie
thing,
go
like, I
first.
remember you also talking, I don't remember exactly when it was, but
Mm.
about voting. So
Yep.
in the US, like, there are 8 states in the
Mm-hmm.
US right now that literally do not have go in to vote. Like, they do all of their voting by mail because
Mm.
it's, like, sparsely populated states in some cases and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it like people in my town, if we go to vote, even for president, it's like, oh, we're waiting in line for an hour or so on election day
Mm-mm.
because you could vote by mail or vote in advance, and we have it all organized and everything. Y'all will spend literally the whole day trying to
The
get to
whole
the
day.
polling. You'll spend
The whole day.
all day
Yeah.
voting because you
Yeah.
have
And
to
it's
go to a polling place far away.
Yeah, very far away where you were registered and all that. Like I would be voting, like I would have to travel an hour to go to the precinct for me.
Yeah.
And then also it's a scary time for us because like gunshots and all this political stuff here in the Philippines, like it's scary if it's election season. So like it's
It
that
gets pretty
strange.
intense,
Yeah,
basically.
pretty intense with that. So that's why I tell the client like, oh, like you might hear back from us in the afternoon or in the evening because people are voting. We also can't do it in advance, so we have to do it in the same
All on the same
day.
day.
In the
You
same
need to get
day.
the memo on that.
No, like we
Although,
won't.
I mean, there are people in the US that think that everybody should have to go on the same day too. I just shake my head, because I think people need to I think we need to make it as easy as we can
Yeah.
to vote legally. So,
Hmm.
let's talk a little bit about kind of standard of living and
Hmm.
pay.
Hmm.
Because one of the big things, like I mentioned earlier, that people will tell me I overpay because roughly, like, I know I've worked with Louise's team for 6 years.
Hmm.
Um, I don't have anything. Bender Labs has not automated any of my stuff yet. So, I can spend a decent number of hours, especially just on the podcast, and people will tell me, and we're like, you're an idiot because I'm paying roughly like, I don't know, like $11 an hour blended rate, something like
Hmm.
that. Um, and they'll be like, well, you could spend $3. And then there's
Hmm.
other people that are in the US very concerned about exploitation are like, well, if
Yeah.
you pay $40 for someone in Kansas City to do it, why is it fair to pay someone in the Philippines $10? So
Yeah.
how how does your team how do your teams feel about the fact that they know you see our back end, like you see what we charge for stuff because you set it up?
Yeah.
How does your teams feel about the pay that they receive compared to what we're charging for some of our sometimes
Mhm.
very expensive programs that they're setting up?
Yeah, actually that is a hot topic. A
I
very hot
know.
topic in this industry. And back in the day, actually, I myself started $1 an hour. Like I would be paid like $1 an hour, and I was, happy already about that because I have a job. But the thing is, I didn't have any experience at that time, so I was okay with that. And here in the Philippines, the traditional jobs would pay us like around, I'm trying to convert it in my head, say like $6 per day. So it's a whole day for 8 hours. Sometimes you have to do an overtime, so you spend like 10 to 12 hours in the job. If I worked in the hospital, I would be getting lesser than that, as a, medical laboratory scientist. So that's why a lot of people here became virtual assistants, because they get the
Mm,
per day pay they could get for an hour, or maybe like, twice as much. So when the industry started, way back, I could remember this, in 2013, the marketing was that, oh, like, hire, virtual assistants from the Philippines, because it's lesser than what you would pay for someone in person. But the thing is, the marketing strategy of that was really, frustrating, because a lot of people would expect, like, oh, can you do this strategy, and then I need an expert, I need you to do all of this and that, and even like up to a point where somebody's running their business already for like $3 an hour, and that
yeah,
is not fair. Because if your expectation is so high, like they would be like this expert, or this like really top professional in that, in that department, then $3 would be, expectation for that
yeah,
rate. But say, for example, if you're looking at someone who has the experience, the expertise, and the strategy, and even with, like, the whole knowledge base of everything that you need, then more than $3, it should be more than, even the standard right now is $5 an hour.
yeah,
So it's really based on how you're hiring, and what you're hiring, and who you're hiring. And at the same time, with us, it's a blended rate, because not only that you're paying for our team, you're paying, number one, for security. We have, our hiring process, like how secure your systems are with us. Not only that you have access to our team, but you also have access to our templates, to our tools. We use our own Canva, we use our own stock photos, our
I
AI
don't let you
tools.
use your own Canva, but
Yeah.
that's just me. Like that, the line that
Mhm.
I drew is like you're creating assets for me.
Yes.
So I want you to use the things. So if we ever don't
Yeah.
work together, it's not a big ordeal to try to get those
Mhm.
assets. But
Mhm.
to me, I think uh, I don't think about paying for those things. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm glad I have that. What I
Yeah.
actually am paying for is three things. The
Mm.
reason I'm perfectly happy. Um, the range of expertise, of course,
Yeah.
that actually goes without saying. You train the crap out of your people,
Yes.
which is a thing that you should ask if you're going to hire any agency
Mhm.
or even an individual VA. Ask them what they're doing to stay up to date on the technologies that they're going to be working with.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
these, I mean, Kajabi is like every 6 weeks rolling out major new
New
stuff. And
features, yeah.
Go High Level, the other platform you work with, the same thing. So part of what I feel like I'm paying for is to get access to trained, consistently
Mhm.
resources.
Yeah.
The name of my show is Work Should Feel Good, and I can tell that you've created a place that is good for people to work, so it's values
Mhm.
aligned. You make sure that you're not paying them the bottom of the barrel. You're not paying them
No.
$1 billion, but you're not paying them the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
And then I've also loved that part of your mission has been to employ people with disabilities that might not otherwise get work.
Yeah,
So
that's number 1.
yeah, that I said it number 3, but that's number 1 for Louise. What actually motivated you to make that a key part of your mission for the company?
Oh, yeah. Actually, my inspiration with that was when I interviewed Mitch Fernandez. She was the first, PWD hire. I was looking for a graphic designer, and then this group reached out to me, because they train people with disabilities to be VAs, and then
Hmm,
they reached out to me and say, like, oh, like, can we, have our graduates, apply for your openings? And I was like, okay, yeah. And then when I interviewed Mitch, she was telling me her story, and what she's experiencing, and how that's why she's looking for a job and all that. I was crying. I was crying
hmm,
when I was interviewing her. Like, I was doing all the HR stuff for at that time, because it was the business was just a baby. And I was calling my co-founder after. I was like, I know now why am I gonna be doing this for, for the next 5 years? Like, I want to help these type of people. And he was like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, like they can actually work, like as long as they know like how to like follow instructions. They have their own laptop and all that. It's like, yeah, like, and I want to do more. And from then on, like, I was really inspired because these people, like, even with their what they're experiencing, they are the most hardworking people. Like they would they would always be up for like new tasks, or even like also train with trainings as well. They would be very open to do the trainings. And that got me inspired because, like, how beautiful is it, like, to give opportunities to these people who thought that they wouldn't even get any.
What is the unemployment rate for people with the types of disabilities that you commonly hire in the Philippines? Do
Oh,
you know?
I actually don't have the number right now because the unemployment here is really really huge as well. So like even with the people with no disabilities, like it's hard to find a job here in the Philippines, like a decent
What
job.
my little nugget for you when
Mhm.
you're talking to people about this piece of your mission is to help them understand what that is. I'm sure you can get you
Yeah.
can probably find out stats, and then, of course, compare it to what you get, because we got 4.4% unemployment or something like that in the US. Even
Yeah.
if people aren't necessarily in their favorite job, they at least have jobs here. That could be
Mhm.
really powerful for you to share. Because for me,
Yeah.
um, it's a big deal. I mean, there's a lot of people that there aren't necessarily the same safety nets in the
Mhm.
Philippines that there are in some of the other countries that you serve. And I don't know who has a disability and who doesn't. I just know that
Yeah.
I get my stuff done. You've done, I think another interesting thing that is part of this, it's kind of like off, like reason 3B, is that there are sometimes people that would give opportunities to folks with disabilities, but
Mhm.
then they would lead with fear. And
Yeah.
instead of being like, okay, I'm going to create an environment that engenders loyalty. Because of the people on my team, Carol's been there forever. Mitch has been there forever.
Mhm.
Lyndon's been there forever. I don't know about Ray, uh,
Ray
and
Ray's been
Lance.
like, I think Ray's going 3 years now. Lance is I know Lance because Lance is 2 years, like two and a half years now. Yeah, I think two and a
Yeah.
half years
And
for
then
Lance.
I'm forgetting Dina. Good
Yeah,
old
Dina
Dina.
has been with us for I think 5 years. Yeah, five
Yeah.
years for Dina.
So you've done a really good job of making a place that people want to stay. So I commend you for that.
Thank
Um,
you.
let's talk a little bit about what it's like to start with a VA, because we've talked about pricing, we've talked about like
Mm.
how to communicate with people. Um, how do you know? How does somebody know that it's time for their business to get a VA?
Number one is if you have a lot of things that you do for your business that are repetitive. Like you think
Okay.
that it's so easy. Like it's so easy that you could do it in like in a minute or two, but you shouldn't be doing it. Like I would
Yeah.
always tell clients like you should outsource the easy task first because like in your like how you can do how you are gonna do it. You can easily instruct someone how to do it, and then, if that VA is not available, then you can do it on your own. But I would always recommend, like, if you have so many repetitive things in your business right now, like, like, oh, I could create an SOP for this, then that is the sign that you need someone
Yeah.
to do it for you. And next thing would be second is if you have areas in your business that you are really good at. Like you think that I'm not, I can't spend my 1 hour or 5 hours with this. Like it should be somebody else. And then third would be like if you're spending more time in your business than actually like you are now working in your business rather than for your business, like
Mhm.
you're
Like
not
when you can't take on new clients
yeah,
because you have so
because
much
you have
administrative
so
work
much to
to do.
do.
Yeah.
Yes,
Um,
that's the sign. Those are the
so
signs.
so a lot of people, and you know me, you and I have had this conversation 500 times.
Yeah.
When a lot of people will feel like I'm bootstrapping this thing. So of
Mhm.
course I should do all the things myself, but there comes a point when that's hindering growth.
Exactly.
So how does someone know not just what to give to a VA, because you've done a
Mhm.
great job of explaining that, But also when they really need to do it. Like, what kind of tension are they looking for? What are the damn it, I wish kind of statements that they might be making to themselves whenever that's showing that it's time for them to work with an outsourcing partner, aka
Mhm.
VA or whatever?
Yeah, so that would be like when instead of like I would tell this story because this came from a real client. Like they would spend like 5 hours like on a Canva image when in fact they could have, done a sales call with those 5 hours
Mhm.
and earned themselves like, $1,000. So that is the moment it's like, oh my God, I wish I could have someone do this for me instead of me now up all night and
Yeah.
trying to do this on my own. And then also like when they always seem like, oh, they have this vision, but they really just can't launch it because they
Yeah.
get stuck in the loop of like, oh, I have this vision, I want to do this, I have so many things that I want to do, but I don't know the who. Like all your what, your why, your how, but you don't know who your who. Your who can be you because you're the
Mhm.
visionary. So and that's like I just had that conversation recently too with a client. It's like you have this big why, like the strategy, like what to do, but you just can't start implementing. You're just stuck in a
Yeah.
loop of
And
like,
I've
oh,
been in
I
that.
have
So
the
here's
vision.
here's one of the things. This is a literal question that impacts Diana. So you're one of the things that I've watched over the 6 years I've worked with your team is that basically the skills have leveled up. That's why I say I feel like that's a major thing that I'm paying for.
Mm,
When I first started working with you guys, it was much more, please give me exactly all the
mm,
directions. And so when you hear SOPs and you're used to working with people that need really detailed directions, that
yeah.
just by itself, the act of making an SOP can feel too onerous to delegate.
Mm,
What do your people actually need? Because I know from Carol and Lance, they like my podcast SOPs, but it took me a long time to make them.
yeah.
Is there a different way that people like me should be thinking about even doing an SOP or pulling together things to delegate? Does that question make sense, Louise?
I'm trying to like repeat it in my head.
Okay.
Like,
I can say it another way if you want.
yeah,
If
yeah,
a
yeah. Let's
person
try
is
that.
feeling like just getting the SOP put together
Is a lot of
is
work.
a drag on them
Yeah.
so that they can even delegate, is there a different way that they need to think about it? Creating the SOP? Is there more efficient ways to do that so it
Mhm.
doesn't feel like, oh my gosh, I spent a long time on my podcast SOPs. And they're really solid, but I dread updating them.
Mm,
So, or I dread writing the next one. Is it possible that I'm over engineering it?
yeah, because sometimes people try to overthink their SOPs. Like, oh, do I really have
I
to?
literally have a sash that says miss over. I have a sash hanging behind me for all of you audio listeners that says Miss
Yeah.
Overthinker. So this question is for me. Okay,
Yeah, because
continue.
when I do my kickoff calls with clients, I would ask them, "Do you have an SOP or have you documented this process before?" And then they would say like, "Oh, I don't. Do I need one? Like, do I need one for that right now?" And I was like, "No, you don't really have to." And that's the beauty of working with us because we can create that for you along the way. Like as we work together, we can create that one for you. And with the age of AI right now, it's so easy to create SOPs. Because you
Yeah.
literally can just like talk to AI and then have that it could run down the SOP, and a lot of our clients are doing that right now. So I don't think that there is an excuse now not to create one, but along the way, that's why like when you're working with a team, it's also important to document each process and have a project management system. But what we made it very easy for our clients to is that we also have our own already that we can share to them, and then they can tweak it a little so that it fits to their business. So
So basically, if I was having trouble, I'm like, oh, I want to do an SOP, a better SOP for onboarding.
yeah.
I could just say, Carol, what you got?
Mhm. Yep,
And then
yep.
add to it. All right, I can do that.
Yeah,
Um,
so that's what we want our clients to feel because that's also that's a problem with people like, oh, you need to hire a virtual assistant, and then what people would think like, oh, I have to like set up the project manage. How do I communicate with my virtual assistant? How do I manage? How do I know what they're working on? How do I know that the hours that they're charging me are correct or and all that? So that's what our company solves.
Yeah.
So that's given
The
already.
answer is Trello. I'm very high on Trello. We've done a really good job of working together on it.
Mhm.
So, and it can be whatever. Some agencies might prefer Asana or another tool.
ClickUp,
I
yeah.
I hate ClickUp. I don't like Asana or ClickUp.
Yeah, we hate
I'm to the
ClickUp
point.
Club.
What?
We hate ClickUp Club. I have clients who hate it too. Like it's like
We hate
I
ClickUp Club.
like
And I can't figure out Notion because it's
oh
not
no,
really a
yeah.
project management tool. But in any case, you'll have one, and that's really good. So let me ask you a flip side question. How do
Mhm.
you know you're not ready to hire a VA?
Oh, I think I posted something about that before.
You definitely sent an email in a few weeks ago about this.
So number one, and I actually did this with clients who I do like have a discovery call with. And I know that, oh, like this person's not ready yet. Like there was number one is like if you're having a hard time letting go, like if you feel like like you should always be in control. And also like second is like it's even making one decision is so hard for you, like deciding what colors or deciding or deciding like oh that's a I don't like that or this, and you don't have time to give feedback to
Mm,
your team. And
yeah.
it's because it's so hard. Like if you're working with a VA, they would always maybe moving forward, like if they're with you for 5 7 years or 8 years, they can decide for you. But right now, if you're starting out, you should be the one to lead them. If you're not ready to lead a person or like be that leader for your VA team, then you can't be working with a virtual assistant if
Yeah.
you can't be a leader of your business.
Yeah. I think that decisions thing is really interesting. And I also think that alongside that, though, if you really do want to get things off your plate,
Mm-hmm.
finding a quality VA that has been around the block. So, probably if you're on the fence about it, hiring a brand new to the business VA,
Mm-hmm.
especially individual VA, might be more difficult. But if you hire either an individual that is specializes in what you think you need the most,
Mm-hmm.
first, and has been doing it for a while, then you can ask them, like, if you're struggling with a decision, these if somebody's basically been project managing coaches in their business for 5 years, they're gonna have some thoughts on the best
Yeah.
way to do things. And I try to do that regular I send a lot of emails if you Carol, how should I think about this? Which is incredibly helpful because as a solopreneur, the hardest thing in the world is not having a thought
Mhm.
partner.
Yeah, that's a
So,
thought partner. And that's what my client told me as well. Like, oh, Luis, I love your team. They organize my brain.
uh,
like,
it's
cause
messy in here for sure. Let's
yeah.
talk about Bender for a minute before we
Mhm.
wrap. So Bender is your AI
AI business.
orchestration
Yes.
architecture. We can set the 3D printing aside. I don't 3D print, but what role is that taking in your business right now? Do you consider that to be the future of your business, or do you
Mhm.
consider it to be kind of equally complementary to the VA
Yeah.
side? How are you thinking about that?
Yeah, how I see it is that it's a partnership. Like it's equally
Yeah.
complementary, of course, because there are things that yes, AI could do, like, or these platforms can automate, but there are stuff that we still need a human brain for it, like the decision, the approvals, the proofing and all that. And with Bender, what we want is as much as because my thing is automate and then delegate. So if there are things that we can automate, we automate it first, to save on hours, to save on back and forth. But also when we delegate, there are things that can be delegated alongside with that, like the proofing, the decision making, the making, the double checking or triple checking, because like AI cannot, logically decide for you, like, oh, this one's a better post, or this one's
Yeah. This is
not
the
so good
best
thing.
clip. Yeah.
Yes. So
Sorry,
that's
Opus, your viral score is not as good as you think it is. I love
yeah.
you, but that's not good.
Yeah,
So,
not yeah, it's not 100%. And when people think that, oh, AI is going to replace virtual assistants, but it's actually, it's a blessing for us, virtual assistants, because it's making our work, maybe, times 10 productive. Back in the day, in 2017, 2018, 2019, we would be manually transcribing videos.
I just
So
can't believe it.
yeah,
So
and
unreal.
when all this came out, we were like, okay, the transcription is done in like in 1 minute, or like, two. So it's making our life easier, and we can focus on like tasks that really matters most, or the projects that really needs our, our human brain.
And I got to tell you, y'all, Louise is not afraid to tell you you're not ready for automation too. She and I had a conversation a few months ago.
Mhm.
I think it was just via email where I asked you
Yeah.
about what was going on with the AI side, and was talking about, it was either other content or podcast,
Mm.
and you were like, you want too much oversight over the output. Like, you have too
Yeah.
many places that you want to insert yourself. It's not going to work right now. And so now we're looking at what does make sense, because I do still like to have some approval, but I realized my team had been creating high quality show notes and podcast
Mm.
promo assets, and I haven't even looked at the show notes in like 3 months, because I just trust that they're good, and if they're not, I can fix it. If someone says
Mhm.
you put the wrong link down or the wrong Twitter handle or whatever, I can fix it.
Yeah.
So, when you think about, so I do think it is a big shift, though, the whole
Mhm.
idea of automate first. For so long, the model for getting things off of people's plate has been delegate, automate, eliminate. And now
Mhm.
I think it needs to be the exact opposite. Eliminate,
Yes.
stop doing stupid stuff,
Yeah,
automate,
the redundant
and
stuff.
then delegate. So
Yeah.
I'm the weird. Am I weird in that I've never had my admin VA Dina work my inbox? I've never had a VA work my personal inbox. Is that unusual? 'Cause
Oh, well, I don't think that's unusual, because I still have quite a few clients who, which their personal inbox, they still keep it themselves, because there are a lot of personal stuff on it, because they have different inboxes. So maybe only the support inbox is what we've managed the most.
Mhm.
But for my
You are
other
managing
clients,
that for me. Lance and Dina are
yeah,
sharing that
yeah,
right
yeah, their
now.
personal inbox is very, like, dear to them, like all of their life is in there. So
Yeah,
like, we don't want the personal stuff, the, the bill, the credit card bills, or etc. So
yeah.
that's okay. And I myself too, my personal inbox, I still manage it. It's not a lot, but my business inbox is what my, my assistant manages. So
Well, and
like,
I'm
it's
referring to,
different things.
like, I have 2 emails. I have
Yeah.
Diana@dianaalt.com. I have hello@dianaalt.com. Hello is, and most everything, even customer support, because I just do
Mm.
one-on-one coaching mostly right now. That most of the time that's coming through my Diana box. Although I just stood up Slack for my clients to do asynchronous coaching. And then whenever I have podcast related things or other admin things, I send the emails to the hello box for Lance or
Mm.
Dina, whoever it is. So, but I've had so many people. What I think it's an interesting point, though, because when you think about taking something off your plate, whether it's automating or delegating, you don't have to listen to what everybody else says you should do first.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how many people say, will stop managing your own calendar. I'm like,
Mm.
hell no. I have an autoimmune condition, and energy is the top thing. And that's the hardest thing to explain to somebody. And when y'all are working on hours that are friendlier for you than they are for
Mhm.
me sometimes, like, I'm gonna have to do it anyway half the time. So
Mhm.
I didn't do that. And then I know other people that another common thing is to say, well, get bookkeeping off your plate.
Yeah.
And I know people that are like, I literally like that. It calms me. Like, you know, I'm not an accountant. I'm not a bookkeeper, but I actually like that part of my business. It doesn't take me that much time.
Yeah.
Don't feel like your only options are whatever the talking heads say that you should
Yeah.
delegate first. Yesterday, I actually led an AI at work panel
Ooh.
at a conference in Kansas City. And there was a gentleman that came up to me after. There were most of the people, like I was the moderator, and then the people on the panel were all like corporate employees. So I would drop in something every once in a while and be like, if you're a solopreneur, if you're a small business owner, think about it this way. And a guy came up to me, he was like a nonprofit marketing strategist, storyteller guy. And he said, I just don't even know where I would start with AI. And I'm like, you are asking the wrong. And maybe he is asking the best girl. So what I said is,
Yeah.
number one, keep track, just keep a little notebook or whatever, Apple phone notes, whatever. Write down everything that annoys you that you have to do for 2 weeks and look for trends. And then I said, feed it into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, what are the trends you see here? What are the top 3 to 5 things that you think I could automate with an agent? And then decide if you like that idea. And then go ask Claude how to do it. And they're like, what do you mean ask Claude? I mean, ask the tool how to use the tool, because the tool will tell you how to use the tool.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
the
how it is.
Jetsons. So that's what I told them. But, well, this has been so much fun. I have one more question before we go.
Yeah.
And all of Louise's how to get a hold of her is going to be in the show notes. Go look at it. If you reach out to her about services, please tell her that that you heard about her on
from this podcast.
Yeah. She likes to know that it's worthwhile to go on a podcast. But my question I ask everybody is, what is the worst piece of career advice you've ever received?
Worst career advice. Wow, that made me think. Maybe it was like, to stop like doing something that is, because I'm someone who always like want to do outside of like what I was told to. Like if you ask me to like write a blog, I would also ask you. I would also do like, oh, I want to do the thumbnail for this, and then someone who would stop me like, oh, you can only do that. But I know that I can do more, and that was I had that conversation when I was working at the contact center, because I was having some suggestions like, what if we do this and that? But they say like, no, like this is just your role, like just focus on that.
Just do just your job.
What you're asked to.
Stay in your lane, I guess is what you're saying.
Yeah, just stay in your lane.
If you would have stayed in your lane, you'd still be in that damn contact center.
Yeah,
like and I'm not that supervisor now or something, but you'd still be in that contact center.
Yeah,
because you wouldn't have taught yourself these skills. That's so cool.
Yeah,
well,
like
I'm so glad you came on. You were one of the like when I first started the show, I brainstormed out like 40 or 50 people that I wanted to have on. Like that very first day, I just wrote it. It's in a Monday board. Am I good at Monday? No, but I have a board for my podcast, and you were on it. So I'm really glad that we were able to do this today. And
yeah, me too.
I'm sure like someday when we automate some stuff, you'll have to come back and we'll talk about that more. What that experience was like to work on that project. Well, thank you to everybody, and I hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day.
Yeah.